Good morning, viewers. Today I am present before you with the podcast on Ode to a Nightingale, composed by John Keats. Before I begin the podcast, it is advisable that you keep a notebook and a pen so that you can jot down the important points and can further develop them into your own notes. Kindly use earplugs for listening to the podcast. So here I begin. The speaker opens with a declaration of his own heartache. He feels numb as though he had taken a drug only a moment ago. He is addressing a nightingale he hears singing somewhere in the forest and says that his drowsy numbness is not from envy of the nightingale's happiness, but rather from sharing it too completely. He is too happy that the nightingale sings the music of summer from amid some unseen plot of green trees and shadows. In the second stanza, the speaker longs for the oblivion of alcohol, expressing his wish for wine, a draught of vintage that would taste like the country and like peasant dances, and let him leave the world unseen and disappear into the dim forest with the nightingale. In the third stanza, he explains his desire to fade away, saying he would like to forget the troubles the nightingale has never known, the weariness, the fever, and the fret of human life, with its consciousness that everything is mortal and nothing lasts. Youth grows pale and spectre thin and dies, and beauty cannot keep her lustrous eyes. In the fourth stanza, the speaker tells the nightingale to fly away, and he will follow, not through alcohol, not charioted by Bacchus and his bards, but through poetry, which will give him viewless wings. He says he is already with the nightingale and describes the forest glade, where even the moonlight is hidden by the trees, except the light that breaks through when the breezes blow the branches. In the fifth stanza, the speaker says that he cannot see the flowers in the glade, but can guess them in embalmed darkness: white hawthorn, eglantine, violets, and the musk rose, the murmurous haunt of flies on summer eves. In the sixth stanza, the speaker listens in the dark to the nightingale, saying that he has often been half in love with the idea of dying and called death soft names in many rhymes. Surrounded by the nightingale's song, the speaker thinks that the idea of death seems richer than ever, and he longs to seize upon the midnight with no pain, while the nightingale pours its soul ecstatically forth. If he were to die, the nightingale would continue to sing, he says, but he would have ears in vain and be no longer able to hear. In the seventh stanza, the speaker tells the nightingale that it is immortal, that it was not born for death. He says that the voice he hears singing has always been heard by ancient emperors and clowns, by homesick Ruth. He even says the song has often charmed open magic windows looking out over the foam of perilous seas in fairy lands forlorn. In the eighth stanza, the word forlorn tolls like a bell to restore the speaker from his preoccupation with the nightingale and back into himself. As the nightingale flies farther away from him, he laments that his imagination has failed him and says that he can no longer recall whether the nightingale's music was a vision or a waking dream. Now that the music is gone, the speaker cannot recall whether he himself is awake or asleep. So, this was a brief paraphrase of the Ode to a Nightingale written by the romantic poet John Keats. I hope this podcast proves to be of help to each one of you in understanding the poem in a better way. Please mention your observations and questions in the comment section below. Please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel and don't forget to click on the bell icon for latest update. Thank you for your valuable time. Here's wishing you a great day ahead.